She's not live yet.
Okay. Well, while
She's
we
going live now.
okay, so we'll give her a couple minutes to get logged in. She was going to log in 5 minutes early, so we're right on time there. So
She's live now.
yeah. Just wanted to put the word out. For a lot of people, there's been quite a lot of loss in our community here recently.
Especially this year. Yeah.
Yeah. And honestly, the last few years, it's been hard, and I know that for a lot of people, it's been hard. Um, and just to remind everybody that reach out to the people that are there to support you. Reach out to the professionals that are out there to help you. You don't have to face things alone. You don't have to do things alone. You have a wonderful community here that wants to help, and there is no shame in getting help when you need it. And remember that the people we have lost would rather us look on them fondly than in sorrow. Right, and so go over here. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, I'm going to let the pre-roll play on mute.
Gloved up. I touched the paint.
You gloved up.
Touched the paint.
Kelly touched paint.
There we go. No, that's us.
Yeah, I don't want to echo. All right, hold on 1 second. I'm going to mute us and unmute her. Give me just a second.
Test, test. Okay, I think I got it. Can you hear me? Yeti shows is working, so I hope you can hear me. I don't know. You know what? I tried move my microphone and all hell goes to loot. All great. I've lost my mind. Don't worry, I'm not normally like this. This is very different. I don't usually read on my streams either, but I'm really excited about this, and I love Cathy, so this was such a great idea for a tribute. So thank you. What is it? We got Kelly Goblin, and I forget who the other person is. So, alright, let me switch things around now that I can be heard so I can see my stream. And thank you, thank you guys for hosting this. Jen. That's right. Thank you, Jen, and thank you, Kelly. You guys are amazing for pulling this off. So, technically, 1 minute, but why not get started? I went with a bunch of short stories and ones that my husband actually seems to have very similar reading tastes to Cathy. So we have, well, we're going to start out with a little Conan, and then we're going to do a little Lovecraft. And if I don't know if I'll have any more time than that, I did read through stuff, so I think that's about an hour. Oh well, thank you so much. I'm just me, and let's face it, Cathy deserves it, and I hope she's wherever she is, she's enjoying what we're doing here. So, all right, so from Conan and Robert E. Howard, I chose The God in the Bowl, a Conan murder mystery. Eris the Watchman grasped his crossbow with shaky hands and felt beads of clammy perspiration ooze out upon his skin as he stared at the unlovely corpse that sprawled on the polished floor before him. It is not pleasant to come upon death in a lonely place at midnight. The watchman stood in a vast corridor lighted by huge candles set in niches along the walls. Between the niches, these walls were covered with black velvet wall hangings, and between the hangings hung shields and crossed weapons of fantastic make. Here and there, too, stood figures of curious gods, images carved of stone or rare woods, or cast in bronze, iron, or silver, dimly mirrored in the gleaming black floor. Arus shuddered. He had never become used to the place, although he had worked there as a watchman for some months. It was a fantastic establishment, the great museum in antique house that men called Callum Publico's Temple, with its rarities from all over the world. And now, in the lonesomeness of midnight, Arus stood in the great silent hall and stared at the sprawling corpse that had been the temple's rich and powerful owner. It entered even the dull brain of the watchman that the man looked strangely different now from the way he had when he rode along the paling way in his gilded chariot, arrogant and domineering with his dark eyes glinting with magnetic vitality. Men who had hated Callum Publico would scarcely have recognized him now as he lay like a disintegrated ton of fat, his rich robe half torn from him and his purple tunic awry. Purple. His face was blackened, his eyes started from his head, and his tongue lolled out from his gaping mouth. His fat hands were thrown out as in a gesture of curious futility. On the thick fingers, gems glittered. Why did they not take his rings? Muttered the watchman uneasily. Then he started and stared, the short hairs prickling at the nape of his neck. Through the dark silken hangings that masked one of the many doorways opening into the hall came a figure. Arus saw a tall, powerfully built youth, naked but for a loincloth and sandals strapped high about his ankles. His skin was burned brown by the suns of the wastelands, and Arus glanced nervously at his broad shoulders, massive chest, and heavy arms. A single look at the moody, broad-browed features told the watchman that the man was no Nemedian. From under a mop of unruly black hair smoldered a pair of dangerous blue eyes. A long sword hung in a leather scabbard from his girdle. Arus felt his skin crawl. He fingered his crossbow tensely, of half a mind to drive a bolt through the stranger's body without parley, yet fearful of what might happen if he failed to inflict death at the first shot. The stranger looked at the body on the floor more in curiosity than surprise. Why did you kill him? Asked Arus nervously. The other shook his tousled head. I did not kill him, he asked, speaking the medium with a barbaric accent. Who is he? Calian Publico, replied Eris, edging back. A flicker of interest showed in the moody blue eyes. The owner of the house? Aye. Eris had edged his way to the wall. Now he took hold of a thick velvet rope which hung there and jerked it violently. From the street outside sounded the strident clang of the bell that hung before all shops and establishments to summon the watch. The stranger started. Why did you do that? He asked. You will fetch the watchman. I am the watchman, knave, answered Eris, bracing his curse. Stand where you are. Do not move, or I'll loose a bolt through you. His finger touched the trigger of his arbalest. The wicked square head of the coral pointed straight at the other's broad breast. The stranger scowled, his dark face lowering. He showed no fear, but seemed to hesitate whether to obey the command or to chance a sudden break. Eris licked his lips and his blood turned cold as he plainly saw caution struggle with murderous intent in the foreigner's cloudy eyes. Then he heard a door crash open and a medley of voices, and he drew a deep breath of grateful amazement. The stranger tensed and glared with the worried look of a startled beast of prey as half a dozen men entered the hall. All but one wore the scarlet tunic of the Numalian police. Wow. They were girt with short stabbing swords and carried bills, long-shafted weapons, half pike, half axe. What devil's work is this? Explained the foremost man, whose cold gray eyes and lean, keen features, no less than civilian garments, set him apart from his burly companions. By Mitra, Demetrio, explained Eris. Fortune is assuredly with me tonight. I had no hope that the watch would answer the summons so swiftly, or that you would be among them. I was making the rounds with Dionysus, answered Demetrio. We were just passing the temple when the watch bell clanged. But who is this, Ishtar? The master of the temple himself? None other, replied Eris, and foully murdered. It is my duty to walk about the building steadily all night, because, you know, there is an immense amount of wealth stored here. Calian Publico had rich patrons, scholars, princes, and wealthy collectors of rarities. Well, only a few minutes ago, I tried the door that opens on the portico and found it only bolted, not locked. The door is provided with a bolt, which works from either side, and only a great lock, which can be worked only from without. Only Calian Publico had the key to that, and that very key that now hangs at his girdle. I knew something was amiss, for Calian always locked the door with the great lock when he closed the temple, and I had not seen him since he left at close of day for his villa in the suburbs. I have a key that works in the bolt, so I entered and found the body lying as you see it. I have not touched it. So, Demetrius' keen eyes swept the somber stranger. And who is this? The murderer, without a doubt, cried Eris. He came from that door yonder. He is a northern barbarian of some sort, perhaps a Hyperborean or a Bossonian. Who are you? Asked Demetrio. I am Conan, a Cimmerian, answered the barbarian. Did you kill this man? The Cimmerian shook his head. Answer me, snapped the questioner. An angry glint arose in the moody blue eyes. I am no dog to be spoken to thus. Oh, an insolent fellow, sneered Demetrio's companion, a big man wearing the insignia of the prefect of police. An impudent cur. I will soon knock the impudence out of him. Here, you, speak up. Why did you murder? Just a minute, Dionysus, ordered Demetrio. Fellow, I am the chief of the Inquisitorial Council of the city of Numalia. You had best tell me why you are here, and if you were not the murderer, prove it. I cannot say this. Cimmerian. Hey, it's not that hard. The Cimmerian hesitated. He showed no fear, but rather a slight bewilderment, as a barbarian does when confronted by the complexities of civilized systems, the workings of which are so baffling and mysterious to him. While While he thinks it over, rapped Demetrio, turning to Eris, tell me, did you see Calian Publico leave the temple this evening? No, my lord. He's usually gone when I arrive to begin my sentry go. The great door was bolted and locked. Could he have entered the building again without your having seen him? Why, it is possible, but hardly probable. If he had returned from his villa, he would have of course come in his chariot. For the way is long, and who ever heard of Calian Publico traveling otherwise? Even if I had been on the other side of the temple, I should have heard the wheels of the chariot on the cobblestones, and have heard no such thing. And the door was locked earlier in the night? I'll swear to it. I tried all doors several times during the night. The door was locked on the outside until perhaps a half hour ago. That was the last time I tried it ere I found it unlocked. You heard no cries or sounds of struggle? No, sir, but that's not strange, for the walls of the temple are so thick no sound can pass through them. Why go to all this trouble of questions and speculations? Explained the burly prefect. He's our man. No doubt about it. Let's take him to the court of justice. I'll wring a confession from him if I have to smash his bones to a pulp. Demetrio looked at the barbarian. You understand what he said? Asked the inquisitor. What have you to say? That any man who touches me will quickly be greeting his ancestors in hell. The Cimmerian ground between his powerful teeth, his eyes glinting angry flames. Why did you come here if not to kill this man? Pursued Demetrio. I came to steal, sullenly answered the other. To steal what? Conan hesitated. Food. That's a lie, said Demetrio. You knew there was no food here. Tell me the truth, or the Cimmerian laid his hand on his sword hilt, and the gesture was as fraught with the menace of the lifting of a tiger's lip to bare its fangs. Save your bullying for the cowards who fear you, he growled. I'm no city-bred Nemedian to cringe before your hired dogs. I've slain better men than you for less than this. Dionysus, who had opened his mouth to bellow in wrath, closed it again. The watchmen shifted their bills uncertainly and glanced at Demetrio for orders. Speechless at hearing the all-powerful police thus defied, they expected a command to seize the barbarian. But Demetrio did not give it. Eris glanced from one to the other, wondering what was going on in the keen brain behind Demetrio's hawk face. Perhaps the magistrate feared to arouse the barbaric frenzy of the Cimmerian, or perhaps there was an honest doubt in his mind. I have not accused you of killing Calian, he snapped, but you must admit the appearances are against you. How did you enter the temple? I hid in the shadows of the warehouse behind this building, Conan answered grudgingly. When this dog, he jerked a thumb at Eris, passed by and rounded the corner, I ran to the wall and scaled it. A lie, broke in Eris. No man can climb that straight wall. Have you ever seen a Cimmerian scale a sheer cliff? Asked Demetrio. I am conducting this investigation. Go on, Conan. The corner is decorated with carvings, said the Cimmerian. It was easy to climb. I gained the roof before the dog came around the building again. I found a trapdoor fastened with an iron bolt that went through it and it was locked on the inside. I hewed the bolt in twain. Eris, remembering the thickness of the bolt, gasped and moved back from the barbarian, who scowled abstractedly at him and continued. I passed through the trapdoor and entered an upper chamber. I did not pause, but came straight away to the stair. How did you know where the stair was? Only Calian's servants and his rich patrons were ever allowed in those upper rooms. Conan stared in stubborn silence. What did you do after you reached the stair? Demanded Demetrio. I came straight down it, muttered the Cimmerian. It led into the chamber behind yonder curtained door. As I came down the stairs, I heard the opening of another door. When I looked through the hanging, I saw this dog standing over the dead man. Why did you come from your hiding place? Because at first I thought him another thief, come to steal that which The Cimmerian checked himself. That which you yourself had come after, finished Demetrio. You did not tarry in the upper rooms where the richest goods are stored. You were sent here by someone who knows the temple well to steal some special thing. And to kill Calian Publico, exclaimed Dionysus. By Mitra, we've hit it. Seasoned men, we'll have a confession before morning. With a foreign curse, Conan leaped back, whipping out his sword with a viciousness that made the keen blade hum. Back, if you value your curs' lives, he snarled. Because you dare to torture shopkeepers and strip and beat harlots to make them talk. Don't think you can lay your fat paws on a hillman. Fumble with your bowl, watchman, and I'll burst your guts with my heel. Wait, said Demetrio. Call off your dogs, Dionysus. I'm still not convinced that he is the murderer. Demetrio leaned towards Dionysus and whispered something that Aris could not catch, but which he suspected of being a plan to trick Conan into parting with his sword. Very well, grunted Dionysus. Fall back, man, but keep an eye on him. Give me your sword, said Demetrio to Conan. Take it if you can, snarled Conan. The Inquisitor shrugged. Very well, but do not try to escape. Men with crossbows watch the house on the outside. The barbarian lowered his blade, although he relaxed only slightly the tense watchfulness of his attitude. Demetrio turned again to the corpse. Strangled, he muttered. Why strangle him when a sword stroke is so much quicker and surer? These Cimmerians are born sword in hand, as it were. I never heard of their killing a man in this manner. Perhaps to divert suspicion, said Dionysus. Possibly, Demetrio felt the body with experienced hands. Dead at least a half hour. If Conan tells the truth about when he entered the temple, he could hardly have slain the man before Aris entered. True, he might be lying. He might have broken in earlier. I climbed the wall after Aris made his last round, growled Conan. So you say, Demetrio brooded over the dead man's throat, which had been crushed to a pulp of a purplish flesh. The head sagged awry on splintered vertebrae. Demetrio shook his head in doubt. Why should a murderer use a cable thicker than a man's arm? And what terrible constriction could have crushed his neck? He rose and walked to the nearest door, opening into the corridor. Here's a bust knocked from a stand near the door, he said, and here's the floor scratched, and the hangings in the doorway that are pulled away. Calian Publico must have been attacked in that room. Perhaps he broke away from his assailant, or dragged the fellow with him as he fled. Anyway, he staggered out into the corridor, where the murderer must have followed and finished him. And if this heathen isn't the murderer, then where is he? Demanded the prefect. I have not exonerated the Cimmerian yet, said the Inquisitor, but we'll investigate that room. He halted and wheeled, listening. From the street sounded a rattle of chariot wheels which approached and abruptly ceased. Dionysus, barked the Inquisitor, send 2 men to find that chariot. Bring the driver here. From that sound, said Aris, who was familiar with all the noises of the street, I should say that it stopped in front of Primero's house, just on the other side of the silk merchant's shop. Who is Primero? Said Demetrio. Calian Publico's chief clerk. Fetch him here with the driver, said Demetrio. 2 guardsmen clomped away. Demetrio still studied the body. Dionysus, Aris, and the remaining policemen watched Conan, who stood sword in hand like a bronze figure of a brooding menace. Presently sandal feet echoed outside, and the 2 guardsmen entered with a strongly built, dark-skinned man in the leather helmet and long tunic of a charioteer, with a whip in his hand and a small, timid-looking individual typical of that class, which, risen from the ranks of artisans, supplies right-hand men for wealthy merchants and traders. The small man recoiled with a cry from the sprawling bulk on the floor. Oh, I knew evil would come of this, he wailed. Demetrio said, You are Primero, the chief clerk, I suppose, and you? Inaro, Calian Publico's charioteer. You do not seem overly moved at the sight of his corpse, observed Demetrio. The dark eyes flashed. Why should I be moved? Someone has only done which I longed to do, but dared not. So, murmured the Inquisitor, are you a free man? Inero's eyes were bitter as he drew aside his tunic, showing the brand of a debtor slave on his shoulder. Did you know your master was coming here tonight? Nay, I brought the chariot to the temple this evening as usual. He entered it, and I drove towards his villa. However, before he came to the Pelion Way, he ordered me to turn and drive him back. He seemed much agitated. And did you drive him back to the temple? No, he bade me stop at Primera's house. Then he dismissed me, ordering me to return to him shortly after midnight. What time was this? Shortly after dusk. The streets were almost deserted. What did you do then? I returned to the slave quarters where I remained until it was time to go to Primera's house. I drove straight there, and your men seized me as I talked with Primera at his door. Have you no idea why Calian went to Primera's house? He didn't speak of his business to his slaves. Demetrio turned to Primera. What do you know about this? Not. The clerk's teeth chattered as he spoke. Did Calian Publico come to your house as the charioteer says? Aye, sir. How long did he stay? Only a short while, then he left. Did he go from your house to the temple? I do not know, the clerk's voice was shrill. Why did he come to your house? To talk matters of business with me. You lie. Why did he come to your house? Said Demetrio. I don't know. I know nothing. Primera's voice became hysterical. I had nothing to do with it. Make him talk, Dias, snapped Demetrio. Dias grunted and nodded to one of his men who, grinning savagely, moved towards the two captives. Do you know who I am? He growled, thrusting his head forward and staring at his shrinking prey. You're Posthumo, answered the clerk suddenly. You gouged out a girl's eye in the court of justice because she would not incriminate her lover. I always get what I go after, bellowed the guardsman. The veins in his thick neck swelled and his face grew purple as he seized the wretched clerk by the collar of his tunic, twisting it so the man was half strangled. Speak up, rat! He growled. Answer the Inquisitor! Oh, my mercy, screamed the wretch. I swear! Posthumus slapped him terrifically, first on one side of the face and then on the other, and then flung him to the floor and kicked him with vicious accuracy. Mercy, moaned the victim. I'll tell anything. Then get up, you cur, roared Posthumo. Don't lie there whining. Dinah shot a quick glance at Conan to see if he were properly impressed. You see what happens to those who cross the police, he said. Conan spat with a sneer of contempt. He's a weakling and a fool, he growled. Let one of you touch me, and I'll spill his guts on the floor. Are you ready to talk? Asked Demetrio wearily. All I know, sobbed the clerk as he dragged himself to his feet, whimpering like a beaten dog, is that Calian came to my house shortly after arrived. I left the temple when he did, and sent his chariot away. He threatened me with dismissal if I ever spoke of it. I'm a poor man, my lords, without friends or favor. Without my position with him, I shall starve. What's that to me? Said Demetrio. How long did he remain at your house? Until perhaps a half hour before midnight. Then he left saying he was going to the temple, and would return after he had done what he wished to do there. What did he mean to do there? Primera hesitated, but a shuddering glance at the grinning Posthumo, doubling his huge fist, soon opened his lips. There was something in the temple he wished to examine. But why should he come here alone, in such secrecy? Because the thing was not his property. It arrived at dawn in a caravan from the south. The men of the caravan knew nothing of it, except that it had been placed with them by the men of a caravan from Stygia. It was meant for Caranthes of Hanumar, priest of Ibis. The master of the caravan had been paid by these other men to deliver it straight to Caranthes, but the rascal wished to proceed straight to Aquilonia by the road on which Hanumar does not lie. so he asked if he might leave it in the temple until Caranthes could send for it. Kelly agreed and told him that he himself would send a servant to for Caranthes, but after the men had gone and I spoke of the runner, Kelly forbade me to send him. He sat brooding over what the men had left. And what was that? A sort of sarcophagus, such as it is found in ancient Stygian tombs. But this one was round, like a covered metal bowl, and its composition was like copper but harder. And it was carved with hieroglyphics like those on ancient menhirs in southern Stygia. The lid was made fast to the body by carving copper-like bands. And what was in it? The men of the caravan did not know. They only said that those who gave it to them said it was a priceless relic found among the tombs far beneath the pyramids and sent to Caranthes because of the love which the sender bore the priest of Ibis. Kelly and Publico believed that it contained the diadem of the giant kings of the people who dwelt in that dark land before the ancestors of the Stygians came there. He showed me a design carved on the lid, which he swore was the shape of the diadem that legend tells us the monster kings wore. He determined to open the bowl to see what it contained. He became like a madman when he thought of the fabled diadem set with strange jewels only known to the ancient race, a single one which would be worth more than all the jewels of the modern world. I warned him against it, but a short time before midnight, he went alone to the temple, hiding in the shadows until the watchman had passed to the other side of the building, then letting himself in with his belt key. I watched him from the shadows of the silk shop until he entered, then returned to my own house. If the diadem or anything else of great value were in the bowl, he intended hiding it elsewhere in the temple and slipping out again. Then on the morrow he would raise a great hue and cry, saying that thieves had broken into his house and stolen Caranthes' property. None would know of his prowlings but the charioteer and I, and neither of us would betray him. But the watchman, objected Demetrio. Galen did not intend to be seen by him. He planned to have him crucified as an accomplice of the thieves, answered Primero. No. Aris gulped and turned pale as the duplicity of his employer came home to him. Where is this sarcophagus? Asked Demetrio. Primero pointed, the Inquisitor grunted. So, the very room in which Callan must have been attacked. Primero twisted his thin hands. Why should a man in Stygia send Caranthes a gift? Ancient gods and queer mummies have come up in the caravan roads before, but who loves the priest Ibis so well in Stygia, where they still worship the archdemon Set, who coils among the tombs in the darkness? The god Ibis has fought Set since the first dawn of the earth, and Caranthes has fought Set's priests all his life. There's something dark and hidden here. Show us the sarcophagus, commanded Demetrio, and Primero hesitantly led the way. All followed, including Conan, who was apparently heedless of the wary eye of the guardsman kept upon him and seemed merely curious. They passed through the torn hangings and entered the room, which was more dimly lit than the corridors. Doors on either side gave into other chambers, and the walls were lined with fantastic images, gods of strange lands and far peoples. Primero cried out sharply, Look! The bowl! It's open and empty! In the center stood a strange black cylinder, nearly 4 feet in height and perhaps 3 feet in diameter at its widest circumference, which was halfway between the top and the bottom. The heavy carved lid lay on the floor, and beside it a hammer and chisel. Demetrio looked inside, puzzled an instant over the dim hieroglyphs, and turned to Conan. Is this what you came to steal? The barbarian shook his head. How could one man bear it away? The bands were cut with this chisel, mused Demetrio, and in haste. There are marks where misstrokes of the hammer dented the metal. We may assume that Callian opened the bowl. Someone was hiding nearby, possibly in the hangings of the doorway. When Callian had the bowl open, the murderer sprang upon him, or he might have killed Callian and opened the bowl himself. This is a grisly thing, shuddered the clerk. is too ancient to be holy. Whoever saw metal like that? It seems harder than Aquilonian steel, and yet, see how it is corroded and eaten away in spots? And look, here on the lid, Primera pointed a shaky finger. What would you say that was? Demetria bent closer to the carven design. I should say it represented a crown of some sort, he grunted. No, explained Primero. I warned Kellyan, but he would not believe me. It is a scaled serpent coiled with its tail in its mouth. It is the sign of Set, the old serpent, the god of the Stygians. This bowl is too old for a human world. It is a relic of the time when Set walked the earth in the form of a man. Perhaps the race that sprung from his loins laid the bones of their king away in such cases as this. And you'll say that those moldering bones rose up, strangled Kellyan Publico, and then walked away? It was no man who was laid to rest in that bowl, whispered the clerk, his eyes wide and staring. What men could lie in it? Demetrius swore. If Conan is not the murderer, the slayer is still somewhere in this building. Dionysus and Eris remain here with me, and you 3 prisoners stay here too. The rest of you search the house. The murderer, if he got away before Eris found the body, could only have escaped by the way Conan used in entering, and in that case the barbarian would have seen him, if he is telling the truth. I saw no one but this dog, growled Conan, indicating Eris. Of course not, because you're the murderer, said Dionysus. We're wasting time, but we'll search as a formality. And if we find no one, I promise that you shall burn. Remember the law, my black-haired savage. For slaying an artisan, you go to the mines. A tradesman, you hang. A gentleman, you burn. Conan bared his teeth for answer. The men began to search. The listeners in the chambers heard them stamping upstairs and down, moving objects, opening doors, and bellowing to one another through the rooms. Conan, said Demetrio, you know what it means if they find no one. I did not kill him, snarled the Cimmerian. If he had sought to hinder me, I'd have split his skull, but I did not see him until I sighted his corpse. Someone sent you to steal, at least, said Demetrio, and by your silence you incriminate yourself in this murder as well. The mere fact of your being here is enough to send you to the mines, whether you admit your guilt or not. But if you tell the whole tale, you may save yourself from the stake. Well, answered the barbarian grudgingly, I came here to steal the Zamorian diamond goblet. A man gave me a diagram of the temple and told me where to look for it. It is kept in that room, Conan pointed, in a niche in the floor under a copper Shetamish god. He speaks the truth there, said Primero. I thought not 6 men in the world would know the secret of that hiding place. And if you had secured it, Dionysus sneered, would you really have taken it to the man who hired you? Again, the smoldering eyes flashed resentment. I am no dog, the barbarian muttered. I keep my word. Who sent you here? Demetrio demanded, but Conan kept a sullen silence. The guardsmen straggled back from their search. There's no men hiding in this house, they said. We've ransacked the place. We found the trapdoor in the roof through which the barbarian entered, and the bolt he cut in half. A man escaping that way would have been seen by our guards, unless he fled before we came. Besides, he would have had to stack furniture to reach the trapdoor from below, and that has not been done. Why could he not have gone out the front door just before Eris came around the building? Because, said Demetrio, the door was bolted on the inside, and the only keys that will work that bolt are the one belonging to Eris and the one that still hangs in the girdle of Kellyan Publico. Another said, I think I saw a rope used by the murderer. Where is it, fool? Explained Dionysus. In a chamber adjoining this one, answered the guard. It is a thick black cable wrapped around about a marble pillar. I couldn't reach it. He led the way into a room filled with marble statuary and pointed to a tall column. Then he halted and stared. It's gone! It was never there, snorted Dionysus. By Mitra it was, coiled about the pillar just above those carven leaves. It is so shadowy up there I could not tell much, but it was there. You're drunk, said Demetrio, turning away. That's too high for a man to reach, and nobody could climb that smooth pillar. A Cimmerian could, muttered one of the men. Possibly. Say that Conan Stragocallan tied the cable around the pillar, crossed the corridor, and hid in the room where the stair is. How, then, could he have removed it after you saw it? He has been among us ever since Eris found the body. No, I tell you that Conan did not commit the murder. I believe the real slayer killed Callan to secure whatever was in the bowl and is hiding now in some secret nook of the temple. If we cannot find him, we shall have to blame the barbarian to satisfy justice. But where is Primero? They had straggled back to the silent body in the corridor. Dionysus bellowed for Primero, who came from the room in which stood the empty bowl. He was shaking and his face was white. What now, man? Explained Demetrio irritably. I found a symbol on the bottom of the bowl, chattered Primero. Not an ancient hieroglyph, but a symbol freshly carved. The mark of Thothamon, the Stygian sorcerer, Caranthes' deadly foe. He must have found the bowl in some grisly cavern before the haunted pyramids. The gods of old times did not die as men die. They fell into long slumbers, and their worshippers locked them in sarcophagi, so that no alien hand might break their sleep. Thothamon sent death to Caranthes. Callian's greed caused him to loose this whore and is lurking somewhere near us. Even now, maybe creeping upon us. You gibbering fool, roared Dionysus, striking Primero heavily across the mouth. Well, Demetrio, he said, turning to the Inquisitor, I see naught for it but to arrest this barbarian. The Cimmerian cried out, glaring toward the door of the chamber that adjoined the room of statues. Look, he explained, I saw something move in that room. I saw it through the hangings, something that crossed the floor like a dark shadow. Bah, snorted Posthumo. We searched that room. He saw something, Primero's voice shrilled and cracked with hysterical excitement. This place is accursed. Something came out of that sarcophagus and killed Killian Publico. It hid where no man can hide, and now it lurks in that chamber. Mitra, defend us from the powers of darkness. He caught Dionysus' sleeve with claw-like fingers. Search that room again, my lord. As the prefect shook off the clerk's frenzied grip, Posthumus said, You shall search it yourself, clerk. Grasping Primero by the neck and girdle, he propelled the screaming wretch before him to the door, where he paused and hurled him into the room so violently that the clerk fell and lay half stunned. Enough! Growled Dionysus, eyeing the silent Cimmerian. The prefect lifted his hand, and tension crackled in the air when an interruption came. A guardsman entered, dragging a slender, richly dressed figure. I saw him slinking about the back of the temple, quoth the guard, looking for a commendation. Instead, he received curses that lifted his hair. Release that gentleman, you burgling fool, shouted the prefect. No, you're not. Astria Patanus, the nephew of the governor? The abashed guard fell away, while the foppish young nobleman fastidiously brushed his embroidered sleeve. Save your apologies, good Dionysus, he lisped. On the line of duty, I know. I was returning from a late revel and walking to rid my brain of the fumes of the wine. What have we here? By Mitra, is it murder? Murder is, my lord, answered the prefect, but we have a suspect who, though Demetrius seems to have doubts on the matter, will doubtless go to the stake for it. A vicious-looking brute, murmured the young aristocrat. How can any doubt his guilt? Never before have I seen such a villainous countenance. Oh, yes, you have, you scented dog, snarled the Cimmerian. When you hired me to steal the Zamoran goblet for you. Rebels, eh? Bah! You were waiting in the shadows for me to hand you the loot. I would not have revealed your name if you had given me fair words. Now tell these dogs that you saw me climb the wall after the watchman made his last round, so they shall know I had no time to kill this fat swine before Eris entered and found the body. Demetrio looked quickly at Astrius, who did not change color. If what he says is true, my lord, said the Inquisitor, It clears him of the murder, and we can easily hush up this matter of attempted theft. The simmer merits 10 years at hard labor for housebreaking, but if you say the word, we'll arrange it for him to escape, and none but us shall ever know about it. I understand you wouldn't be the first young nobleman who had to resort to such means to pay gambling debts and the like, but you can rely on our discretion. Conan looked expectantly at the young noble, but Atreus shrugged his slender shoulders and covered a yawn with a delicate white hand. I know him not, he answered. He is mad to say I hired him. Let him take his just deserts. He has a strong back, and the toil in the mines will be good for him. Conan, eyes blazing, started as if stung, the guards tense, gripping their bills. Then relaxed as he dropped his head, as if in sullen resignation. Eris could not tell whether or not he was watching them from under his heavy black brows. The Cimmerian struck with no more warning than a striking cobra. His sword flashed in the candlelight. Atreus began a shriek that ended as his head flew from his shoulders in a shower of blood, the features frozen in a white mask of horror. Demetra drew a dagger and stepped forward for a stab. Cat-like, Conan wheeled and thrust murderously for the Inquisitor's groin. Demetria's instinctive recoil barely deflected the point, which sank into his thigh, glanced from the bone, and plowed out through the outer side of his leg. Demetria sank to one knee with a groan of agony. Conan did not pause. The bill that Dionysus flung up saved the prefect's skull from the whistling blade, which turned slightly as it cut through the shaft, glanced from the side of his head, and sheared off his right ear. The blinding speed of the barbarian paralyzed the police. Half of them would have been down before they had a chance to fight back, except for that the burly Posthumo, more by luck than by skill, threw his arms around the Cimmerian, pinioning his sword arm. Conan's left hand leaped to the guard's head, and Posthumo fell away, shrieking, clutching a gaping red socket where an eye had been. Conan bounded back from the waving bills. His leap carried him outside the ring of his foes to where Eris had bent over to recock his crossbow. A savage kick in the belly dropped him, green-faced and gagging, and Conan's sandaled heel crunched square in the watchman's mouth. The wretch screamed through a ruined splintered teeth, blowing bloody froth from his mangled lips. Then all were frozen in their tracks by the soul-shaking horror of a scream, which rose from the chamber into which Posthumo hurled Promero. From the velvet-hung door, the clerk came reeling and stood, shaking with great silent sobs, tears running down his pasty face and dripping from his loose, sagging lips, like an idiot babe weeping. All halted to stare at him against Conan with his dripping sword and the police with their lifted bills, Demetria crouching on the floor and striving to staunch the blood that jetted from a great gash in his thigh, Dionysus clutching the bleeding stump of his severed ear, Eris weeping and spitting out fragments of broken teeth. The impostor increased his howls and blinked with his good eye. Promero reeled out into the corridor and fell stiffly before them, screeching in an unbearable, high-pitched laughter madness. The god is Long Reach! Oh, cursed Long Reach! Then, with frightful convulsions, he stiffened and lay grinning vacantly at the shadowy ceiling. He's dead, whispered Dionysus in tones of awe, forgetting his own hurt and the barbarian who stood with dripping sword near him. He bent over the body, straightened, his pig's eyes popping. He's not wounded! In Mitra's name, what is in that chamber? Then horror swept over them, and they ran screaming for the outer door. The guard, dropping their bills, jammed it into a clawing and shrieking mob and burst through like madmen. Eris followed, and the half-blind Posthumo blundered blindly after his followers, squealing like a wounded pig and begging them not to leave him behind. He fell amongst the rearmost, and they knocked him down and trampled him, screaming in their fear. He crawled after them, and behind them came Demetria, limping along, grasping his blood-spurting thigh. Police, charioteer, watchmen, and officials, wounded or whole. They burst screaming into the street, where the men watching the house took panic and joined in the flight, not waiting to ask why. Conan stood in the great corridor alone, save for the 3 corpses on the floor. The barbarian shifted his grip on his sword and strode into the chamber. It was hung with rich silken tapestries, silken cushions and couches lay strewn about in careless profusion, and over a heavy gilded screen a face looked at the Cimmerian. Conan stared in wonder at the cold, classic beauty of that countenance, whose like he had never seen among the sons of man. Neither weakness nor mercy, nor cruelty nor kindness, nor any other human emotion showed in those features. They might have been the marble mask of a god, carved by a master hand, except for the unmistakable life in them, life cold and strange, such as the Cimmerian had never known and could not understand. He thought fleetingly of the marble perfection of the body concealed by the screen. It must be perfect, he thought, since the face was so inhumanly beautiful. But he could see only the finely molded head, which swayed from side to side. The full lips opened and spoke a single word in a rich, vibrant tone, like the golden chimes that ring in the jungle-lost temples of Cathay. It was an unknown tongue, forgotten before the kingdoms of man arose, but Conan knew what it meant. Come. And the Cimmerian came with a desperate leap and a humming slash of his sword. The beautiful head flew from the body, struck to the floor to one side of the screen, and rolled a little way before coming to rest. Then Conan's skin crawled, for the screen shook and heaved with the convulsions of something behind. He had seen and heard men die by the scores, and never had he heard a human being make such sounds in his death throes. There was a thrashing, floundering noise. The screen shook, swayed, tottered, leaned forward, and fell, with a metallic crash at Conan's feet. He looked beyond it. Then the full horror of it rushed over the Cimmerian. He fled, nor did he slacken his headlong flight until the spires of Numalia faded into the dawn behind him. The thought of Set was like a nightmare, and the children of Set, who once ruled the earth, and who now slept in their nighted caverns below the Black Pyramids. Behind that gilded screen had laid no human body, only the simmering, headless coils of a giant serpent. Oh wow, that took longer than I thought. And that was, oh Lord, that was really cool. It's a Conan murder mystery. The God in the Bowl. Alright, so I got 15 minutes. Alright, so I'm going with the plan. I had a couple pieces. I don't know why that took longer, but maybe I acted it out a lot more. I don't know. But I hope you enjoyed it. The other story I wanted to really get to is a real short story by Lovecraft called The Cats of Ulthar. Anybody who's caught my murder hoboing would totally understand why I picked this, because it's a Cthulhu game and Ulthar is actually part of it. Sorry guys, I'm not looking at my own chat because I'm reading. So, I will catch you all at the top of the hour, because I'm going to go on. I'm going to paint for an hour so you can all hang out if you're on my stream. Or you can come to my stream. So, with that little break, I'm going to take a little bit more of a drink. Now present The Cats of Ulthar. It is said that in Ulthar, which lies beyond the river sky, no man may kill a cat. And this I can verily believe as I gaze upon him who sitteth purring before the fire. For the cat is cryptic, and close to strange things which men cannot see. He is the soul of Antuic Aegyptius, and bearer of tales from forgotten cities in Meroe and Ophir. He is the kin of the jungle's lords, and heir to the secrets of hoary and sinister Africa. The Sphinx is his cousin, and he speaks her languages, but he is more ancient than the Sphinx, and remembers that which she hath forgotten. In Ulthar, before ever the burgesses forbade the killing of cats, there dwelt an old cotter and his wife, who delighted to trap and slay the cats of their neighbors. Why they did this, I know not, save that many hate the voice of the cat in the night, and take it ill that cats should run stealthily about yards and gardens at twilight. But whatever the reason, this old man and woman took pleasure in trapping and slaying every cat which came near to their hovel. And from some of the sounds heard after dark, many villagers fancied that the manner of slaying was exceedingly peculiar. But the villagers did not discuss such things, with the old man and his wife because of the habitual expression on the withered faces of the two, and because their cottage was so small and so darkly hidden under spreading oaks at the back of a neglected yard. In truth, much as the owners of cats hated these odd folk, they feared them more, and instead of berating them as brutal assassins, merely took care that no cherished pet or mouser should stray toward the remote hovel under the dark trees. When, through some unavoidable oversight, a cat was missed and sounds heard after dark, the loser would lament impotently or console himself by thanking fate that it was not one of his children who had thus vanished. For the people of Ulthar were simple, and knew not whence it is all cats first came. One day, a caravan of strange wanderers from the south entered the narrow cobbled streets of Ulthar. Dark wanderers they were, and unlike other roving folk who passed through the village twice every year. In the marketplace, they told fortunes for silver and bought gay beads from the merchants. What was the land of these wanderers, none could tell, but it was seen that they were given to strange prayers, and that they had painted on the sides of their wagons strange figures with human bodies and the heads of cats, hawks, rams, and lions. And the leader of the caravan wore a headdress with two horns and a curious disc betwixt the horns. There was, in this singular caravan, a little boy with no father or mother, but only a tiny black kitten to cherish. The plague had not been kind to him, yet left him the small furry thing to mitigate his sorrow, and when one is very young, one can find great relief in the lively antics of a black kitten. So the boy, whom the dark people called Menes, smiled more often than he wept, as he sat playing with his graceful kitten on the steps of an oddly painted wagon. On the third morning of the wanderer's stay in Ulthar, Menes could not find his kitten, and as he sobbed aloud in the marketplace, certain villagers told him of the old man and his wife, and of sounds heard in the night. And when he heard these things, his sobbing gave place to meditation, and finally to prayer. He stretched out his arms toward the sun and prayed in a tongue no villager could understand, though indeed the villagers did not try very hard to understand, since their attention was mostly taken up by the sky and the odd shapes of the clouds were assuming. It was very peculiar, but as the little boy uttered his petition, there seemed to form overhead the shadowy, nebulous figures of exotic things, of hybrid creatures crowned with horn flank discs. Nature is full of such illusions to impress the imaginative. That night the wanderers left Ulthar and were never seen again, and the householders were troubled when they noticed that in all the village there was not a cat to be found. From each hearth the familiar cat had vanished, cats large and small, black, gray, striped, yellow, and white. Old Cranna, the burgomaster, swore that the dark folk had taken the cats away in revenge for the killing of the menaced kitten, and cursed the caravan and the little boy. But Nith, the lean notary, declared that the old cotter and his wife were more likely persons to suspect, for their hatred of cats was notorious and increasingly bold. Still, no one durst complain to the sinister couple, even when little Atal, the innkeeper's son, vowed that he had at twilight seen all the cats of Ulthar in that accursed yard under the trees, pacing very slowly and solemnly in a circle around the cottage, two abreast, as if in performance of some unheard of rite of beasts. The villagers did not know how much to believe from so small a boy, and though they feared that the evil pair had charmed the cats to their death, they preferred not to chide the old cotter until they met him outside his dark and repellent yard. So Ulthar went to sleep in vain anger, and when the people waked at dawn, behold, every cat was back at his accustomed hearth, large and small, black, gray, striped, yellow, and white. None was missing. Very sleek and fat did the cats appear, and sonorous with purring content. Just checking the time. Shoot, I lost my place. Oh, here we go. The citizens talked with one another of the affair and marveled not a little. Old Cranon again insisted that it was the dark folk who had taken them, since the cats did not return alive from the cottage of the ancient man and his wife. But all agreed on one thing, that the refusal of all cats to eat their portions of meat or drink their sauces and milk was exceedingly curious. And for 2 whole days, the sleek, lazy cats of Ulthar would touch no food, but only doze by the fire or in the sun. It was fully a week before the villagers noticed that no lights were appearing at dusk in the windows of the cottage under the trees. Then the lean Nith remarked that no one had seen the old man or his wife since the night the cats were away. In another week, the burgomaster decided to overcome his fears and call at the strangely silent dwelling as a matter of duty, though in doing so he was careful to take with him Shang the blacksmith and Thul the cutter of stones as witnesses. And when they had broken down the frail door, they found only this: 2 cleanly picked human skeletons on the earthen floor and a number of singular beetles crawling in the shadowy corners. There was subsequently much talk among the burgesses of Ulthar, that the coroner disputed at length with Nith, the lean notary, and Cranon, Shang, and Thul were overwhelmed with questions. Even little Attell, the innkeeper's son, was closely questioned and given a sweetmeat as a reward. They talked of the old coroner, little Cotter and his wife, of the caravan of dark wanderers, of small Menes and his black kitten, of the prayer of Menes and of the sky during that prayer, of the doings of the cats on the night the caravan left, and what was later found in the cottage under the dark trees in the repellent yard. And in the end, the burgesses passed by that remarkable law which is told of by traders in Hetheg and discussed by travelers in near, namely, that in Ulthar no man may kill a cat. And with that is 4 minutes to go. So I think that's gonna be it. So, I mean, I'll say my little piece too. First of all, I want to say thank you for tuning in to watch me read, and please keep watching the stream. Or heck, you can do what I do. I have both streams going. I have my stream up, and I have the stream for the for the whole daily read. I'm gonna be painting my tribute Cathy for the next hour. So I said, if you're here, I'll be here to actually talk to you. But as I want to say, Cathy, we miss you so much already. You were the greatest, one of the greatest ambassadors of our hobby, one of the kindest souls and most joyous souls I have ever had the pleasure to meet and know. I'll miss you so much. I will miss having that lobster dinner that you were gonna come at some point and eat. And maybe someday I'll get to Adepticon to meet your awesome husband. I hope I meet him in reality. Please help. There are donation links. Please, give him a hand. Funerals obviously take a lot, and of course all the bills from her cancer treatments. Fuck cancer. Pardon my French, but I'm gonna say that. And I think with that, if you want to go to the next reader, that'd be great. And I'll turn the sound back up. That'd be great. Oh, and thanks for the shout outs.
Okay. So the next readers part go to the Viking. I've got him up, and it looks like he is still on. Be right back. So we've got 2 minutes to wait. We won't rush him.
Just checking to see if I'm clear.
We'll just let him know.
Yes, sweetie.
Okay.
You're
All right, so to those of you who are here, yes, I will spend another hour painting. Give me a sec.
He's ready.
And see that mini when you're done.
You bet. If you can hear me. Here.
Yep.
Okay. All right. So his stream is unmuted. He is ready to go as soon as he starts.
All right, guys. Thank you so much. Wow, I was really shocked at all the support. Thank you guys for being here. I'm gonna switch it to. I do want to switch some things back up so that we can actually. Yeah, I know you can hear me. I assume you could hear me for the whole stream too. So the plan is that I'm gonna paint for an hour, and then Gareth, you are here. Are you gonna stream on your Twitch, or are you doing Discord? Because it's gonna depend on where I raid. If Gareth is actually streaming it, okay. So in an hour, we're gonna raid into Gareth. Maybe turn your alerts off. I thought I did that, but thankfully, all I got was if somebody followed or something like that. I'm not sure. I heard a ding, and it's fine. Thank you, whoever did that. So that's the plan. But I'm gonna put on. Thank you so much. Oh my god, Karachi Crickets. Wow, I'm not sure about that name. Wow, you got some weird names. Alright, I'm gonna put on the Be Right Back screen because I got a couple things to do to set the stream back up. And if you notice, by the way, enjoy the art there. Although it's not on that screen, but I put up Cathy's pieces as a slideshow right now because I just wanted to feature her. This is her night and her day. So let me find Streamlabs. I got too many windows open. So let me Be Right Back, and I will be right back.
And there will be messages that come up to where you can donate to help out James and the Wappel family pay medical bills. So I don't usually do just chatting, by the way. So if you're watching on my stream, the light's a little bit wonky, but that's okay because we're just reading. Before the beginning, there was nothing. No earth, no heavens, no stars, no sky. Only the mist world, formless and shapeless, and the fire world, always burning. To the north was Niflheim, the dark world. Here 11 poisonous rivers cut through the mist, each springing from the same well at the center of it all. The roaring maelstrom called Bergelmir. Niflheim was colder than cold, and the murky mist that cloaked everything hung heavily. The skies were hidden by mist, and the ground was clouded by the chilly fog. To the south was Muspel. Muspel was fire. Everything there glowed and burned. Muspel was light where Niflheim was gray, molten lava where the mist world was frozen. The land was aflame with the roaring heat of a blacksmith's fire. There was no solid earth, no sky. Nothing but sparks and spurting heat, molten rocks and burning embers. In Muspel, at the edge of the flame, where the mist burns into light,
Alright, I'm back for a sec. I'm back. I just gotta finish setting up, let's see. What are we gonna turn back on here? I gotta turn stuff on. Let's see, I muted sound files. We gotta unmute that so that people can do stuff again. Oh, I know what I'm missing. I'm missing CloudBot. I gotta put all my things back on. Hey, well, I could wait, I guess. Let's see, timers. We can do that. We're gonna leave Cathy's going. You know what? I'm just gonna leave the welcome up, and I'll put the Discord up in case anyone wants to join Discord. But tonight, this is about her, so I'm gonna leave a lot of those notifications down. So, hi everybody! How are you tonight? That was an interesting experience. Didn't help I started out with my friggin' voice being friggin' dry. I noticed you put up a hydrate. How is everybody doing? Can I take a shot now? Wait, did I turn that back on? And someone say something. I want to make sure that people are hearing me. I owe you 2 hydrates. Actually, I did one. Something. My desk is a friggin' mess right now. There we go. Because I had to move my mic. And I think that's what happened. I moved my mic and I knocked the friggin' cable out. And I thought I put it back. And it didn't work out so well. There we go. But I got it. So don't mind me while I clean up my desk. But I knocked all the brushes off the my little brush cat. My Reaper brush holder. Of course, if there's anybody who's lurking about who has any memories they want to post about Cathy, you know, be it interactions on streams or actually meeting her, because I know Gel Tip has met her. Please post. Okay, those are all that. Bookmarks. Alright, so I did do a hydrate though. Oh. Alright. So I started Cathy the other night on Wednesday. This is sort of my substitute stream because I will not be streaming tomorrow. I'm not doing a show and tell tonight though. Let me check and I'm gonna see if I can focus that a little better. I said my cameras have kind of been all over the place. Oh yeah, I should put some music on too. I was like, I'm not having anything. Nobody else had anything on. I'm like, I'm not having anything on. Well, let's see. Anything else I want to turn back on? I don't think so. I'm going to leave Cathy's slideshow up. Okay, so minicam. See if I can get this any better. It's so quiet. That's it. Is I'm missing music. There we go. That's a little better. All right, so we'll go to Pretzel. Excuse me. I hope, did you all like that, by the way? Did I read well? I tried to do it with dramatic flair. What do I want to do? I'll put lo-fi on. What's that thing? Chill. Usually I try to read. So Garrett, there you go. You have Parko the Viking who's up next. I'll tell you what, I listened to most of it when I was other readers. T-Cat. I don't know if T-Cat's still here. T-Cat was friggin' amazing. I don't know the name of the book. I sort of described to my husband he loves books. So he knows most of them, of the good works. Despero the Mouse. Oh my lord. Just friggin' amazing story. I now want to get the books or whatever, the book she was reading so I could get the end. But it was so good. And she read it so well. And to the point where they actually brought her back to do a second hour because we need someone to fill in. Alright, let's see. Set up painting stuff. Alright, what am I going to paint on this tonight? I've only got an hour. So last time you can see I painted her face. I tried to do it look like she's looking towards the light. So the whole front has been illuminated. There's some shadow on the side. I could do her hair. I could start armor. This is like, I'm like stuck. What do I want to do with it? I could try to figure out what the hell bleen is. That was like a color that Cathy made up, and I think it's a blue-green. I was thinking I maybe want to do plaid. If you actually look at her mini, she did a lot of patterns and such, and I kind of want to do a plaid. Spill Paint Pod, how are you tonight? I don't suppose you saw that. I think I want to do a green, the lion green. Do the shield. There's like so much on this. It's like, oh my gosh, what do I do on it? Screw it. I'm gonna do the part I want to do. I want to do purple. I want to do her hair purple. That's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do it like, I'm gonna try to do it like the picture. She definitely had kind of a magenta-y. So it said, we're gonna paint for an hour. Oh no! Well, thanks. It said, thanks for tuning in. This is a weird stream time for me, but it was so worth it to help be a part of this tribute for such a legend. She probably hated for me saying it's such a legend, but. Oh, okay. Yeah, I did it dramatically. So I did God and the Bull, which is a Conan story. Cathy really liked Conan stories. I remember the first one I heard on a stream was a Conan story. So, like, I'm going with it. And then and I know she liked Lovecraft, so I did the Cats of Ulthar. The first story took me a lot longer to read than I originally thought, but I did it with a lot more flair than when I practiced it. And I kind of sort of practiced it. Looking for colors. But it was fun. It was fun, but my mouth was like dry right from the get-go, and I'm going, oh no, I should have had something to drink, and I do not want to stop. So I stopped when I took a break between. I'm like, oh wow, it's quarter of. I knew it was going for a while. Alright, so I'm going to take some purple. And I'm mixing it in with some magenta. I think I want to go a little darker. A little black. Oh no, wait, I'm going to add. What do I add? Maybe a little. That's not the right color. Black indigo. That's a good color. That's a good color to add. It's a super, super dark purple. But oh great, my desk is like all in disarray because I had to move my microphone around. Because I backed myself off a bit from my camera, from my face cam. So I had to move the mic closer. And said I knocked out the thing, so naturally that's why I was muted at the beginning. I'm going, I hope I didn't break it. That'd be really bad. I feel like I'm gonna need to get a new cord for it at some point. I want a dark color to do a shadow color for the hair. It's like I want something that's a happy medium between what I initially mixed, and I know I don't have a palette cam. I feel like I have enough stuff up on my screen. So Gareth, if you're here, still lurking about, I think it'd be funny if you did it, but I totally understand if you don't. You gonna leave talk like an orc up for 15 minutes? Oh, I got paint in my brush. That's not good. Don't make me while I clean it. So what are you reading again? Did you figure? Yeah, I assume you figured that. Oh, it's right. You're doing a Conan story too. I'm glad you're not doing the same one. Although one of the things now, if I had enough time, I was gonna do one of Edgar Allan Poe's poems. Originally, I thought about doing The Raven, but very first thing, right out of the gate, first person up, first thing read was The Raven. So I'm like, maybe I won't do that. If I was the last person, I would have been tempted to. But I wasn't the last person. Gareth is the last person. Oh my god, I think it'd be amazing, but it'd be hard to do. Oh my god, doing all those voices was... I tried to do different voices. Oh my god, there were a million characters in that story. But my husband recommended, I go, what's a good short Conan story? Because she really liked them. I go, I only got an hour. And he goes, God and the Bull. He goes, it's a murder mystery. I'm like, oh, I approve. And then I read through it a couple nights ago and I'm like, I love this. So if you want, you're on. So that all popped up the links. There's a new link on there that wasn't on there the other night because there's a new mini. And it's by Hack and Slash Minis, who actually... They're supposedly on our Discord. But like everyone else, including myself, we're not very great. And they do Rogues in the House of Starts. That's what it was like. I wasn't sure how long it was gonna... Oh, that'll be... Read that as your orky voice. Sneaky orcs. It was I really like that story. And even though it's a murder mystery, it's still it's still a creature that was the actual killer. It wasn't anybody. I think the other thing that's funny is that Conan's actually terrified at the end, because I didn't think anything ever scared Conan. He went running away like a punk too. I don't know why he friggin' killed it. You should have stayed and looted the temple. I mean, alright, so, I mean, you could hear even mine, I mean, even though, I read it 2 nights ago. So, I mean, I knew what I was getting into, but it still wasn't perfect. It wasn't a perfect read, but I knew it wasn't. I knew I was gonna, there are parts my mouth was gonna be working faster than my brain. So I wore my purple shirt tonight because even though she was a big fan of magenta and bleen, I keep thinking there's another color that I'm forgetting that she liked. A made-up color. I remember bleen. But I know she liked, I distinctly remember knowing she likes purple. So I wore my purple shirt tonight. Oh, cool. So you changed your overlay a bit? I'm wearing my Arnold beast since I'm reading Conan. I hope you can do a better Conan than I can. I tried to get the deeper voice with the big, barbarian type. There's some cringe lines in there. Granted, it's a product, the writing is a product of its times. But there were some lines in there I kind of was like, ooh, am I really saying this? Do you think you might be able to pull off a deeper voice than mine? I mean, to me, in my head, from what I hear, and you never sound like what you actually sound like. When are you? Oh, gel tip. By the way, I don't believe I showed up to have the shoutouts. First of all, let's do. I don't know who alright, so yeah, Night Whisper's here. So we'll do gel tip. Oh, hey, it can't do at. It's exclamation point shout out first. T-Cat! Oh my god, you are here. Okay, so, T-Cat. You are... First of all, that story was amazing. Oh my god. What is the name of it? Please. I still said I want a gel tip Muppet. Because he said he had a Muppet voice. Alright, so now, alright, first of all, let's do T-Cat because, oh, so it's just the tail. It's not T-A-I-L, huh? The tail of Despero. And Despero's a mouse. Actually, it seems like you get into the tail of the rats, too. One of the rats, too. Who's gonna probably turn out to be sympathetic and good guy. And rats are not ugly, by the way. But that was that was such a great pick for a story. The only thing is I wish it was a little shorter. So you could have done it in the 2 hours. But I mean, that was really cool that you got a call back. It was such a good story. My husband actually does think he's more of the literary. He was an English major, and he was a writing major. So he loves books. He loves literature, and he loves studying language, like the etymology of languages and such. I wish I had more time to read books. My problem is I just don't. I know I got Cathy's picture in there, but I think I need to go take a look. Photos. Because I crossed out the picture here. Alright, so this was just the base dark color. I'm going to develop it a bit more. It's funny, Cathy's hair and like the picture that's really been going around, the front of it looks like mine, like the color mine ended up going. It's kind of red. Oh wait, I didn't get a nice whisper, did I? And last but not least, I gotta do our host. Which is Ballite 3D. So if you don't follow them, follow them. They're the ones behind, the masterminds behind this whole day of streaming. Just incredible. And I think they do mini painting and such on their channel. So this was absolutely incredible. Alright, so I'm trying to figure out, as I said, it kind of reminds me of this. Which is kind of funny. What color looks like my hair? Dude, that's not too bad. So it definitely goes more red. Red-orange. Maybe even a little bit hint of yellow in it too. I add a little bit of the lighter magenta purple into this. So tomorrow, I'm supposed to go to a Ren fair. However, I'm looking at the weather, and the weather's a bit sketch. It's gonna rain. Now, we all still want to go, because I can't go on Sunday. Sunday is my painting party. So, we're gonna go tomorrow and make the best of it anyways. We've got cloaks. Oh, he's so sad. I just screwed up this brush. Oh, and naturally my phone goes to sleep. Don't go to sleep until I tell you you can. If you are a streamer, let me know. I can shout you out. You know, if I missed anyone, let me know. I'll shout you out. Because people feel weird about shouting themselves out. I don't blame them. I kind of feel weird too. That looks right, about right for the color. Thank you guys all so much for turning out. It means the world to me too. As I said, I put up all those links. So I said added a new one. And it said it's a tribute mini where much of the proceeds, obviously, probably the profits are going to go to the Wappels, or to James Wappel specifically, to help pay for. I'm sure he's got built, first of all, from the funeral itself, and then, or this, whatever they did, and of course, for the treatment, I'm sure there are bills left over from that too. So I posted, said I have basically there, you can still get this mini, which is the Reaper Tribute, Cathy Tribute mini. You can also get, I said, there's a new one that Hack and Slash did that's a goblin. That is really friggin' cool. If you popped in on the actual stream, there's a picture of it there. But I did post the link, so you can always go look at it on Etsy. It's like $15. Aw, T-Cat. Enjoy. Oh, good. So Gareth finally got his minis. From when I just sent them out this week. Oh, it doesn't take that long. You don't have to go live that early unless the person. I ended up going live a minute early when I normally I go live 5 minutes early. I went about 6 because the guy finished up in front of me. So they can't really do anything until actually the other person's done, and then they bring you in. However, what I did was go onto Discord and ask them if they need anything. Make sure that they know you're streaming. Make sure they know the link. They probably will follow you just to make sure. They're gonna get a bunch of new mini painting friends out of this deal. Okay, so yeah. So if you've done all that, then yeah, I mean you can pretty much. I didn't start. I said I only hit the button when the previous person finished before me, and they finished a little early. I loved her hair. She always had the coolest high jobs on her hair. A little bit of gold. It's like she did like the red and goldish, in the front. And then in the pigtails, she goes to more like a cool purple with highlights. Grilled. Oh, yeah. Oh, I'm so jealous of you. Grilled catfish. So I did give you a shout out. At least I think I did. How are you, Night Whisper? How was your day? Most of mine was spent most of mine was stressing out like nuts at work. So add a little bit of gold yellow to this. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more yellow towards the front. Oh, actually, I will be online again tomorrow, but it will be at night. I get a shot on Murder Hoboing tomorrow night for the bi-weekly one-shot game. So let's see. Hectic day from Night Whisper. I was supposed to take my mom to the eye doctor, but before I left, I noticed it's no longer showing on a patient portal. Turns out their laser equipment wasn't working, so they rescheduled. Well, good thing they told you. What the friggin' heck? Did they tell her and she didn't tell you? But that seems weird. I would think she would. But my younger daughter also had her band trip to Six Flags, and wife still needed to get driven to from her Girl Scout meeting. Wait, your wife's Girl Scout meeting? Oh, that could be. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. Memory issues suck when you get older. Okay, that's what I was saying. I was wondering about that. Cool. I'm glad. That's really cool she is. Now, did your girls... You have 2 girls, right? I know you have at least 2. And 2 girls. Are they both scouts? And did they actually get their gold awards or whatever? It's probably still called a gold award. Just the equivalent of an eagle, or did they at least stay until they graduated from high school? You sound like a dad, you know? Now this is where I gotta be careful. I do want to actually indicate. Oh, that's what I should do. I should really concentrate this light yellow actually on the front of her face. I'm trying to make it so it look like the light is hitting her. Just look at the light. So you're going just south, right, Jill Tip? Right, so if I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna darken this back up here. Oh, okay. So, you're in New York, right? Oh, you're in New York now. That's right. I'm backwards. Yeah, Connecticut, because, D&D, running D&D is more important than my paint party. I know. I feel like I need to bribe you to come back to it again. What do you mean? More than that for me. See, I just make sure I schedule around D&D. Of course, you're not scheduling the thing, so I am. No, D&D, I get it. Believe me, I get it. And I always would schedule my painting party around when I was having a Sunday game, I always would have to schedule around that. Okay, so. I know you, kid. Yeah, well, I actually believe that. You do have to schedule around your wife. I believe it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably try to glaze it. I said I want it fairly bright. I want it fairly bright in the front of her head, but it may be too much. Boy, it's a very different view looking from the top of her head than from the side. So what's everyone else up to? And if you're... So, Gel Tip. When are you... So you're going to do your own reading stream, right? In Tribute? Because you couldn't do the one today? When is that going to be? It tend to be the out-of-the-way partner. When are you going to do it? Everyone needs to tune in. And by the way, if you feel like posting it on the Discord where it says post your streams, please, when you know, let us know. I'm sure we'll all want to come visit. I know I'll want to come visit. If it's in the cards. Oh crap, Tuesday when I'm home I'm going to do it 7 to 8:30 p.m. I read that many paint the usual time. Oh neat, okay. That sounds good. Maybe? I don't know, Tuesday? You'll be having drink from Reaper Paint Cup. Wait. Oh, okay. That's, you know what, that'd be a great thing to do on like April Fool's Day, for an April Fool's stream. Like have like a paint cup. You can almost like abuse it like this one, the outside, but never have it be for like actual drinking. Oh, sorry, actual paint water. That'd be pretty funny. So after all that, complaining about the other mini, and how long it took me to do all the non-metal metallics, I'm going to be doing this one, likely, in non-metal metallics. So... I'm almost tempted by another one. Crackling Melvin Maid voice. Fozzie Bear has Lord Soth. Oh my god. The Angle of Balcony Eyes of Paladins. What are you reading again? All the mispronunciations you'd never not want to hear. I don't know why I had such a problem with Cimarron. That's such a stupidly easy thing too. Night of the Black. Oh yeah, that's right. Night of the Black Rose. That yeah. It's about Soth. Okay. Wait, who's? Oh, so Fozzie Bear is Lord Soth. Gee. I'm trying to imagine that. But yeah, Ravenloft is awesome. Yeah, Ravenloft. Like I think Kryn Ravenloft. It's hard. I don't know which one is first. Kryn Ravenloft because Lord Soth or Strahd Ravenloft. You do not, and by the way, you have a perfectly fine voice, Geltip. I like your voice. It's my voice that I have the issue with. I'm gonna guess you all don't hate my voice completely. Alright, I want. Alright, so I want a more... I definitely want purple that does not have as much... I want red. I am sure 40 minutes in Fozzie will come on. Is that what you think your voice sounds like? Is Fozzie? I just don't think so. My best friend loves Kryn, by the way. That's why we're gonna eventually, at some point, we're gonna play Dragonlance. That's what that mini is being painted for. So the hair here, I'm gonna even continue it because it's hard to see the back. Oh, please have Soth sing Rubber Ducky. So the big mystery is whether or not Gareth is gonna leave on. Speak like an orc. And then, because it seems like he will honor it and have to read like an orc. I'm almost tempted. I have over 10,000 points saved up on this channel. I'm so tempted. On the other hand, I understand. It's a little nerve-wracking. So, I'm on the fence on whether I do it to him or not. Duckies are the rubbiest if they are yellow. Yeah, oh god, I can't do it. Duckies are the rubbiest if they are yellow. That's pretty good. Yeah, but the thing is, Gareth, I don't think you want to remove it. I think you wanted to I think you want somebody to do it. Honestly, that's up to you. I mean, as I said, I took down, apparently I forgot I thought I actually had the alerts. You know what? Maybe it was the, give me a sec. Make sure. I wonder if it was, I had it on the wrong channel because I thought I killed my alert box. Oh, god damn it. The shot glass? No. I shut them all down. I pretty much shut down most of the channel point rewards. So, because I wasn't going to be reading, I can't read chat when I'm reading. So, I mean, I know Warren threw up a couple hydrates, which is fine. It was probably a mercy. I left that up on the off chance maybe I'd see it. But when I started rolling, there was no looking up from the, yeah, there was no way I could look up from the book to actually see what's going on. Oh wow, we are just 12 minutes away from Gareth, where the mystery will be answered. Yeah, bullshit. You asked earlier if it was up and running. I'm pretty sure you intended to do it. I said the big mystery is whether or not you're going to have that channel port reward up and running. I said I'll respect it if you don't, obviously, because I won't be able to spend the channel points. I'm so looking forward to this, Gareth. But so here's to all of you who decided to hang out after. Thank you so much. Thank you for tuning in to hear me read. Appreciate it. I mean, if you guys want other types of streams, let me know. I mean, you're all a lot of you in Discord, so you know, I'm not sure if my cloud bot ever actually put up any of. Oh yeah, it's putting up the. Basically, shut off most of my cloud bot notifications. In fact, they're all shut down except for the Cathy one, really, and I think there's one other. What do you mean 6 minutes left? Jail tip. Alright, so here's to all of you. And of course, I'd be remiss if I did not have another drink. Because I've been doing this a lot, to Cathy.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. I will be leaving those links up. Yeah, I will totally be leaving. Oh, yeah, I have been actually. Because I came on 4 minutes early. Oh, I'm glad I didn't start doing that. Believe me, I was like, before stream, my cough came back. I was like, oh goody. I do not want my cough to come back. I want to darken this more. This is on the dark side of her head, so actually gonna reshadow it. I know, I break a leg, Gareth. Have fun. Be dramatic. And gel tip, by the way, did you see the hack and slash mini? The Goblin Tribute mini? Because I think you'd like it. I like it. I really think it's cool. The link's right there if you want to go check it out. It's like 15 bucks. It's really cool. I think it's her. That's right, this side of her head is actually more in shadow. Then the right side. That's the focus I want. The light more or less to be coming from this angle. That would be awesome. Would you just take a look at the mini or... Oh, the, yeah, sorry. Yeah, the mini. The hack and slash battle, hack and slash mini. Also, I put up the Patreon. So now, let's say you're not rich like me. I'm not rich, meaning. If you only want to donate a little a month, you can always become a patron of James Wappel. But not only that, you'll be able to unlock cool videos and such of stuff that he does for, you know, help teach. I mean, and that he's just such a master painter. I mean, he's such a great teacher. So to me, it's totally worth it. So as I said, I'm going to leave all those up for now until I'm done, at the very least done painting her. I didn't get tons done on tonight, but I did get her hair partly done. Let me see if I can add a little bit of highlight to it, like real white highlights, where the light's hitting. We have 5 minutes. 5 minutes until Garrett's go time. And then, he's gonna be doing it on his Twitch, and they'll pick him up and broadcast his sound on Ball Light. Is that what it is? Yeah, Ball Light. I'm gonna be doing that one. This stuff because I've been thinking about learning oils. Hey, hi, Smart Goblin. So, did you see the debacle of me reading? Thank you for advertising too. Oh, the Patreon, yeah. His Patreon's pretty. I mean, I'm not one, but I keep thinking about I should be one, especially right now. It'll help. Did you enjoy it? It was so much fun. The worst part was I was like warm. It's warm in here, and my throat was like dry. Like, oh my gosh, it was like drying out. Like in the first minute, I'm like, what the frick? But it was good. I had so much fun. I'm glad I picked a piece that my puppy helped me pick a piece that I could be really dramatic with. Actually, Smart Goblin, you might like that mini too. The hack and slash version, because it is a goblin and it's really cool. So it's something you might want to consider. I mean, it's the proceeds go to Cathy's husband, James, who's also a mightily good mini painter in his own right. Okay, he just went live. We got about 3 minutes. So glad you were here, though. And I appreciate the fact you hung out, even after. Alright, so I'm going to put this down. Oh. Holy mackerel. That was what a fun stream. Maybe I should hold up like that. So, the hair's coming out pretty good. I said, I'm taking my time on this mini. I mean, because she meant so much to me. And my plan is I really kind of want to send this to... He's going to have a million of these, I'm sure. But I want to but they won't be mine. I want to send him my version, my take on this mini. I had hopped briefly on Blade's stream before going out to give people rides, and as James was chatting a bit on... Oh, wow. I mean, it'd be cool if he saw it. If not, it's so quite alright. So he did find the stream. Now, we have there were people that are close to him that knew about it, because me and Blades are on, and I'm sure others, but we're the two, I think, that put posts on it about this day. But it was a private group called Cathy's Community Corner, where we would post jokes and memes and hilarious stuff. Oh my god, they were awesome. To keep her spirits up. And maybe even to keep our spirits up too. But it was when she was painting that. Oh, okay. He posted today on Facebook, by the way. So we could all now respond. I would assume still don't try to message him and stuff. He's gonna get bombarded. At some point I might reach out to him and check in and see how he's doing. But he's so awesome, and so is she, and I miss her. I miss her so much. But yeah, he posted a little bit on, basically made a Facebook post, and it was lovely. Gave basically the timeline that everything kind of went wrong the day before my birthday, May 5th. is when it all went downhill. And they actually still thought she was going to leave, I guess, because it said they were going to give her oxygen. So it must have been something in her lung. I just can't believe she's gone. Still can't believe she's gone. Alright, so my little to-do, so we can get over there, because it is now time. Alright, so first of all, thank you all so much for tuning in. Thank you for tuning in to watch the reading if you're there, and thanks for hanging out with me while I did the hair on the Cathy Tribute mini that Reaper has. You can buy your own. The links are there. I will be back. Well, I technically be back on Murder Hobo's YouTube tomorrow night at 8:00 p.m. Eastern to do our to participate in the bi-weekly one-shot as third level something. Yes! Oh, please! I want to see him anyways, but yes, if you're any minis you do, but I will set up a Cathy tribute model, and it could be for either model. I haven't set up a channel yet. I haven't really. It's been a week, so don't mind me. It's just been a week, but I do. I want to make sure that I get something up in the Discord. I want people who do this to actually post. But that's it. All right, so I'll be back tomorrow night, technically. Not on this channel, but on the Murder Hobo Inc. YouTube channel. Just put in M Hobo Inc. You should be able to find us there. 8:00 p.m. Eastern, and it's a one-shot. No commitment here, guys. You can just come and watch me make an idiot out of myself. I'll probably die. I'll be back on Monday. Painting minis right here at 7:00 p.m. Eastern, and Wednesday at 8:30. And as I said, thank you all so much for being here. It meant the world to me. Cathy, wherever you're at, I hope you really enjoyed this day of tribute streams to you of us reading. Everybody's done a fantastic job. T-Cat, you freaking knocked a home run. I loved Despero so much. And you just killed it. And I think that's it. So let's go rating Garrett's stream. He is reading. So we want to just hang out and listen to him and see how he does. Oh, god damn it. I did it wrong. I have a shot in me and I'm tired. It was a long day. Hey, they're gonna... Why the frick? I put the thing in and it didn't record. They're gonna put it on YouTube, by the way. So it will be in 2 parts because unfortunately during T-Cat's first stream, the stream died. Alright. HRIEDMAR. That's right. Okay, so, Jesus, for some reason the backslash wouldn't go in. Let's all go there. Come on, there's one more. It says there's one more. Alright, guys. Have a great night. Well, hey, you know what? I love you all. I really do. Alright, you guys, it's just unbelievable you come and visit me. And happy painting.
Betty knocked himself senseless. When he came to, he was in the strongest dungeon in the city, shackled to the wall with chains not even his barbaric thews could break. To the cell came Murillo, masked and wrapped in a wide black cloak. The Cimmerian surveyed him with interest, thinking him the executioner sent to dispatch him. Murillo set him at rights and regarded him with no less interest. Even in the dim light of the dungeon, with his limbs loaded in chains, the primitive power of this man was evident. His mighty body and thick-muscled limbs combined with the strength of a grizzly with the quickness of a panther. Under his tangled black mane, his blue eyes blazed with unquenchable savagery. Would you like to live? Asked Murillo. The barbarian grunted. New interest glinted in his eyes. If I arrange for your escape, will you do a favor for me? The aristocrat asked. Cimmerian did not speak, but intentness of his gaze answered for him. I want you to kill a man for me. Who? Murillo's voice sank to a whisper. Nabonidus, the king's priest. The Cimmerian showed no sign of surprise or perturbation. He had none of the fear or reverence for authority that civilization instills in men. King or beggar, it was all one to him.